And the Oscar goes to
my Nomadland.
Nomadland.
Yes!
Happy Oscars!
It's lit.
Yes, we are having our Oscars party.
If you aren't subscribed already, please, why aren't you? We beg of you.
What are y'all doing?
What y'all doing? Subscribing? Thanks for all your support. And now, back to the show.
Yes.
Happy Oscar night.
Just the two of us, which is the show is starting. So we will be back in a bit.
Hey, Nerdy Film Girl here, and we are here to tell you all about what happened at the infamous Oscars of 2021. Apparently not as anticipated for most of the country, since it had the worst ratings of all time.
First time it dipped below 10 million viewers.
And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that it had been postponed. People weren't seeing films in theaters. A lot of people didn't even know what the nominees were.
Yeah, it was a bit different this year.
Right, it wasn't kind of like shoved in their face like it is usually every year what nominees are out. He and I, though, were able to see all the Best Picture nominees. We thought we would tell you what we loved and what we hated. Unfortunately, there's a lot that we hated about the Oscars compared to what we loved. To start off on a more positive note, let's start with the things that we loved.
Love.
The winners. Promising Young Woman won Best Original Screenplay. It was a really great script, really solid.
It scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, and actually, yeah.
Like hard candy.
Yes. Best Adapted Screenplay went to The Father, which was a film that we loved. The Father's so good.
The Father is the film of the year. It holds on to you and doesn't let you go. Confuses you, beats you, slaps you, roughs you up, and says, guess where you are now? You're in Father country.
The way they adapted it
play?
to the screen. Yeah.
La Perle.
Right. And he actually wrote it for Anthony Hopkins, too, which was really nice.
Anthony Hopkins is one of those beloved icons, as they said last night.
Cinematography went to Mank because if you hated that movie or you loved that movie, the one thing that really stood out was the cinematography.
Black and white, different, felt like a classic, old school talkie.
Yes.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, so great win there. Best Foreign Film also was not a surprise, went to another round, which we didn't get a chance to see yet, but we're really looking forward to seeing that.
Mikkelsen.
Yes.
Mads Mikkelsen. Ooh, he's hot right now.
Yeah, and that movie looks great, so I've heard nothing about but great
delves
things.
into what if you drank all the time and you ended up being functional.
Yes, and I think they show the downfall of that as well through the film. But
Danish film.
Yes. Oh, Best Sound. That was another great win for Sound of Metal. That was great.
I love Elise Ahmed.
And it was a shoe-in to win Best Sound because that was one of the first things you noticed right away when watching the film was how amazing the sound editing and sound design was.
There was more inclusivity with the ASL community, HOH and deaf community.
Yeah, that's another group that was included this year, which was really nice.
I love Sound of Metal. It was one of my favorite films of the year.
Yeah. So besides all the winners, I mean, we could go on and on and say that the winners,
we're not going to bore you with all these winners.
You already know
this
them
is
at
no
point.
list. This is a love-hate relationship we have with the Oscars this year.
We loved, Daniel Kaluuya, the grandmother from Minari. Her speech too was really great.
Oh, her speech,
I loved her speech. Yes,
she's so cute.
Yes,
she's been in the game for a long time too, since like the 70s. Back in South Korea.
Of course, Nomadland and Chloe Zhao winning those awards, Best Picture and
Chloe Zhao
Best Director.
has braces. Am I wrong?
No, I think she does.
It was too cute. Her braids rock the house.
Yes, they always do.
We are getting an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at our second associate producer, Oliver and Company. He's a bit scared of the camera, not like Taika.
Another thing that we loved. That's not for you.
He's not 21 either. No. Welcome to the couch, Kitty.
Yes, we also loved this setting. It felt so Hollywood deco. It really was cool the way the tables were, the booths, I should say, because they were booths.
Yeah, the decor.
Yeah,
the location was sweet.
The aesthetic of the night was really.
Yeah.
I loved it. It felt very old Hollywood.
The je ne sais quoi.
Yes. So that was nice. As soon as the show started off the bat, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is a cool take. And then the final thing that we loved as well was the
representation of people of color, women. It was a big year for Asian actors and filmmakers. This year was really about inclusion.
I feel like they showcased a lot more of the foreign films in other categories. There was the Italian film Pinocchio that was nominated for quite a lot.
Did anybody know Pinocchio?
No,
was being made?
we didn't see it. Lots of different films from other countries that actually made it onto multiple categories, not just another round like we stated earlier. One of the biggest letdowns of the night was the fact that there was such a lack of visuals.
It really made the pacing of the show different.
Montages to celebrate any specific group of people. As far as, sometimes they'll do, like, for animators, they'll do like a whole montage of that, or even like the lighting design people or the costume design people, or even just best sci-fi movies. They did that one year, best special effects. They did nothing to celebrate cinema, in my opinion, in any form. And to me, the Oscars are the biggest celebration in film history.
Hollywood's biggest night.
I've always said that the Oscars is not really about the glitz and glamour. It is about the truest celebration of cinema as an art form. And none of that came across last night at all. I had a really big issue with that. I wasn't necessarily bored, it just didn't feel magical. And we both said it felt very empty. So that was a big issue for me. As well as they didn't show any clips from the films, really. They did show clips from like the foreign films, the short films, the docs, which is fine, and they always should do that. But for the films that were the Best Picture nominee, they didn't do that at all. And usually throughout the night, they'll have someone come out and talk a little bit about one of the Best Picture nominees, and then they'll show like a really tiny trailer, I'd say. And that just gets you really psyched and really like, oh, these movies are so great. None of that happened. So I really was disappointed with that. It didn't make the night feel special. The second thing that we had an issue with was the In Memoriam. And I know everyone's talking about this, so we don't have to go on too long about it, but it was so rushed. It felt so disrespectful. The song choice was bizarre. They didn't show clips from those actors either. Sometimes they'll pick a handful of actors.
To remember all those people, it just felt rushed. It felt like it was just an afterthought, and they ended on Chadwick Boseman, which was respectful. They kind of hurried through the rest of it.
I totally agree with that, 100,000%.
Speaking of lack of visuals, I remember years in the past, like Lord of the Rings or The Matrix, famous scenes we could always watch at the Oscars. If you hadn't seen them, you'd see the best parts. It didn't blow people's minds. And it kind of went further with the In Memoriam.
Yeah, it felt like it lacked class and dignity, and I really don't know what the producers were thinking.
The producers were snoozing this year. With the In Memoriam, we can only say too fast, too furious.
Max really likes not having a host, and he thought that would work. I felt that I missed the host last year. I don't remember if there was a host the year before or not, but I think
like
there
Jimmy Kimmel.
wasn't. Yeah, I almost feel like this time in the past 2 years, there wasn't a host.
Yeah.
The issue is that if there's no host, the writing for the presenters has to be like spot on to keep the show moving. I didn't think there was an issue with the presenters this year. However, we both feel that a host could have really salvaged the end of the night.
Oh, what a mess.
So one of our biggest upsets was the fact that they reversed the order of Best Picture, the announcing of Best Picture, with the Best Actor and Best Actress categories.
Yeah, and you said that was the second time in history they ever didn't end with the Best Picture winner.
Yes, and the only other time they did it, which is a much more acceptable reason, was because they had honored Charlie Chaplin.
The biggest fan of Charlie Chaplin is right here.
Yes, for such a long time he was out of the industry, and it was a really nice, he got a 12-minute standing ovation, and that was like the way to end the night, and it was really perfect. It was in the 70s.
Historic.
I actually remember last night saying to him, like, oh my God, did we miss Best Actor and Best Actress? Because all of a sudden they were like, Best Picture.
She freaked out.
I know, I was like, is the streaming screwed up? Did I have too much to drink?
Off?
Like, what's going on?
They didn't do Best Actress yet. Did they?
Yeah, but they're doing it. No, I just didn't get picked.
There's no way it wasn't the best picture. And it's like 11:03.
That was not the case at all. They decided to put Best Actress and Best Actor last.
We have a theory on that too, why they put Best Actress and Best Actor at the end.
The producers were banking on Chadwick Boseman winning Best Actor, so they thought
True.
everything would come down to that and it would be a big end of the night.
His wife was ready to accept his award, and an upset happened with...
Anthony Hopkins. Now,
He wasn't even there!
he wasn't even there, which is okay because the man's 83 years old and he lives in Wales and it's a pandemic. I don't blame him for that. I think Dan Murrell put this perfectly. And this is that if Chadwick Boseman had lost to any of the other nominees, he would have been livid. And I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman
Mank.
would have been, are you kidding me? Like, I love Gary Oldman, but...
That could have been any actor in that role, and he was too old for it anyway.
Exactly. The fact that Anthony Hopkins, who gave such a brilliant performance in The Father, his performance was absolutely phenomenal. I think it was well-deserved. I think it was well-deserved for both Anthony Hopkins and Chadwick Boseman. I'm upset about how the whole night was handled because it was curated around Chadwick Boseman winning.
Right.
They had his family all attend the Oscars. They also put, what were they, photos of Chadwick's
Why?
face in the gift bags for
Why?
him, which was a little bizarre and I felt kind of insensitive. So I don't really understand what they were thinking.
Out of touch.
It was very anticlimactic because not only did Anthony Hopkins win, but Anthony Hopkins wasn't there. And then you have Joaquin Phoenix, who's the most laid-back person on the planet. Didn't know what to say, really. I mean, he said goodnight and everything, but it was just such a... like, oh, is this over? I guess it's over. I guess that was the Oscars. It was very, very
we're like,
bizarre.
oh, okay, bye.
I hope the biggest lesson learned is that producers should not try to guess who is going to win and base off the entire evening off of that, because that's clearly what happened. And
You can't predict that. It's like Minority Report. It doesn't work out. I guess we'll wait till next year.
yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
And Joaquin Phoenix, one of our favorite vegans.
Yes, one of our favorite vegans, absolutely.
It felt a bit strange this year in Hollywood because of COVID for the second year. But now we had all the real people in the audience. They all got tested. They all got their shots.
Yeah.
We are having an audience full of people with COVID taken care of. This Oscars felt like a win for Hollywood, but it felt like a loss for the audience. Hollow, a little bit emptier than usual shows. Not the glitz and glamour, but you know, you could have on Billy Crystal and all those old hosts again. But we're in a new age. Maybe we don't need a host anymore. I kind of agree with her, but disagree. It seems to be up in the air where this thing might be going next year.
Maybe I'm a purist, but I 100% miss the hosts. I think that for me, that's kind of, you need a ringleader of the show. And again, if you don't want to do the hosts, the pacing goes probably a little bit better, but you need to have excellent writing for the presenters because they're the ones taking on that role.
We don't want another Rob Lowe experience.
With Snow White.
Oh, Snow White and Rob Lowe. But Oscars, what happened?
Yeah, it really felt like they just didn't care. And that's really sad because this is one of the most important years that we really wanted. I think most people were really looking forward to the Oscars. It was really...
last year.
Movies are the things that got us through COVID. So I really think that having such a lack of care of handling that night was really just a shame. We wanted to give you a special thank you for joining us on our Oscars journey because it's been a crazy year with COVID and movies really got us through. So it is now the conclusion of the 2020 Oscar season. A new season is among us and I'm really excited to see what amazing films come out this year. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what happened in your opinion at the Oscars. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was a nightmare, disaster, or an amazing event overall? Give us your opinions in the comments below.
And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. What's the harm?
Please like and hit that bell so you're always up to date with our newest videos and our movie chats because we love having them and we love getting in the conversation with you.
You guys rock.
And you can follow Max at Scream-A-Pillar on Twitter as well as Dios Mio Man on Instagram. And you can follow me at Nerdy Film Girl on both Twitter and Instagram.
Thanks for joining us.
And we look forward to next year's Oscars, so stick around for that one. Keep it cool, film cats.
Peace. Hey Santa.
Hey Santa.
Yeah.
Hey Santa.
Santa. I listen to that at CBS.
Santa. I hate that song so much.
Oh, get it out of my head. Okay.
Yeah, so
We're just new boot goofing.